Are you all right? Do your wounds still hurt? I had someone prepare a little medicine that could prove effective. Take it if you need to.
In that case, let me relate the contents of the call we made to Alice after the incident occurred.
That Dottore is a crafty one. He distracted the Hexenzirkel by creating a huge fuss at I'd assumed that the cause was an abyssal intrusion from the outside world, which in fairness is a rather common occurrence. But after learning that you managed to influence the phantoms in Nodcry, I realized that perhaps
But we weren't able to change their fates.
True, you couldn't change how their stories ended, but you did build some variables.
Variables?
Yes, things you heard that you could not otherwise have learned, ideas that would otherwise have never crossed your mind. All these things are, of course, most variables usually pale into insignificance with the myriad of possibilities floating around. But the moment you start treating them as building blocks and intentionally stacking them, that's what Dottore did. And it's how he created the necessary conditions so that when you activated the portal tonight, it played right into his plan.
However, we have no way of knowing exactly what he did.
Yeah, we also need to ascertain Columbina's status.
And that about sums it up.
As I suspected, Dottore has disappeared completely. If it's any consolation, he wasn't able to control Columbina as he might have wished to.
Oh no! What? She did what? All we saw was Dottore appeared and used some kind of power. The next thing we knew, he and Columbina were gone, and...
So, Columbina intentionally opened the Moon Gate and escaped into the same mysterious world as Rerir and Thalindis.
Sounds like bad.
Seen in that way, the trilunar syzygy and Rerir's emergence, Dottore might have been pulling the strings in both cases. According to Miss Alice, he is attempting to transcend his destiny and finish an experiment that only a god might complete.
An utter lunatic.
Wait a sec, where's Hat Guy? Seems like
He took off with the Dodo communication. The look on his face was terrifying.
I'm back.
Hat Guy!
I went to look for the Hyperborean phantoms again. I got them to talk to Nicole on the other end.
Really? But Hat...
Because the phantoms are the ones who were deceived. They speak of a savior who appeared in their history. This savior promised to create a new moon within the false sky, and even bring back their moon goddesses. Foolishly, they believed in him, and told him everything he wanted to know about the moons. It's obvious that this was Dottore's.
Now you mention it, the first time we entered the Hyperborean ruins, we heard the phantoms discussing their history, and I remember Nicole commenting that something sounded a little...
But Dottore shouldn't have been able to get in there in the first place.
He didn't. Nicole said that this was an anomalous state triggered by disruptions in the causal connections between phantom. The variables that Dottore put in place were substantial enough that they even affect...
So it's not that their
That's exactly the possibility Dottore was trying to manufacture. He turned these variables into knowledge and engineered the situation so all that knowledge would fall into his hands. Then, he harnessed that knowledge on Moon Prayer Night to truly create a false moon.
How is that even possible?
To be precise, he exploited a weakness in the way the spell works. The spell senses Kuvaki to detect the moon's location. So, as long as the false moon more strongly resembled the moon, the gate would teleport Columbina to the false moon's location. In other words, to Dottore side. Once he had her under control, the teleportation spell remained active, and he manipulated her power.
At that moment, the moon marrows disappeared right before our eyes. It was already too late, even as we were leaving the ruins.
By then, Dottore had already amassed the power of all 3 moons.
So, where does that leave us? What do we do now?
I'd certainly like to know what Her Majesty thinks, now that the concerns I expressed to her have come to pass. And in any case, it is not the Fatui Harbinger Damselette who sees us as her friends, but rather Columbina Hyposil. If, even in such extreme circumstances, Her Majesty will not lift the prohibition on, then I will do as my heart demands. I will fight. Time is short, so I'll make the first.
Whew. Even Arlecchino seems to...
All right. Lose those dejected looks for a moment and let me get a word in. It looks bad, I won't lie. So Dottore's pulled, and yeah, many have told me that, and since he was able, you of all people should not be discouraged. This isn't over yet. And you're not alone in that. But none of us are the type to... That's exactly how a knight should roll. If they knock you down, you get back up and get back in it. Don't forget, Honorary Knight, you're a legitimate member of Mondstadt.
Mark is right. This is far from over. Dottore's already way overdue a butt kicking.
That's what I'm talking about. How's everyone else feeling?
I'll use Kuvaki.
Leave the intel gathering. Ano and I will do all we can to support you. We will attempt to reverse engineer Dottore's actions and seek a breakthrough that way.
Alice and Nicole are busy dealing with an emergency at Tevat's borders, so they can't return just yet. But they're both very angry about this.
Are you ready then?
I'll do my best.
As for me, I'm pretty familiar with Dottore's way of doing things, so I can try to predict his next move.
Nice! Looks like we have our basic division of labor. I'll get in touch with Flints and Itlua, get them to have a chat with their Starshiner. It couldn't hurt to bring the Lightkeepers. At the same time, I'll pass on instructions to the Knights present in Nodcry to assist the Lightkeep.
Yeah!
That's it then. Good luck!
I never thought that Columbina would be... It went from being a Fatui code name to some... And remember, come night or day, the moonlight...
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like this. Situation has changed again. Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you?